So this is these slides which we had discussed earlier. So we will be go through. Okay. So Pega is nothing but which we called as a BPM. BPM is nothing but business process management, where we can Pega helps to automate the things. Okay. Now what it will automate, okay, on what basis it will automate, on what structure it will automate, right, and on what criteria it will automate. So we will discuss during the session for a couple of minutes. Okay, so those who joined yesterday, right, so try to listen carefully, okay, and try to revisit the concepts. Okay, so don't leave this session. Why? Because it would be useful for your revisit purpose. Okay, great. And yeah, so coming to the class, so Pega uses the Java backend. Okay, so we no need to write anything, a single piece of code. Okay, so Pega will take care. Okay, so Pega already developed a Java code. Okay, it uses the Java code, and we need to use the Java code in the form of methods. Okay, so at present, you might not having any idea on methods and all these things, right? Okay, so in the coming days, you will be having a great idea on how we can extract the code and how we can utilize this code. Okay, so this is the intro of the Pega. Okay, so what is Pega and all these things. And coming to the next slide, so we will be having a software structure where this is a traditional way. Okay, so in the traditional way, we will be having a front end and as well as a back end. Okay, so any application which we see right now, right, and right away, right, will be having a front end and as well as a back end. Okay, so front end is nothing but, see here, we will be having a many languages that need to be incorporated if we need to develop any website or app. Okay, so now what are the programming languages we need to learn in order to develop a front-end application or web application? Okay, the first one would be HTML, okay, and CSS, and we need to learn few JavaScript libraries as well. Okay, so in order to develop this application, this front-end application, we need to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript libraries. So this is what front end does. Okay, and coming to the back end, right? We need a few programming languages like we have .NET, Python, okay, Ruby we have, and we have Java, C Sharp, C. Okay, so all these things. Okay, so client will say, or else based on the client requirement, they will develop with the C or else Java or else Python. Okay, so based on the requirement, they will develop the application. Okay, and the other form would be there, that is nothing but database management, where we will be having a many database, like we have Oracle, like we have MS SQL, that is SQL, and also we have this MongoDB as well, and there are many database as well we have present. Okay, so in order to develop any application, we need a front end, back end, and in order to manage the database, right, we will be taking care the database management as well. So this is for traditional way. Okay, so this is the sample piece of code which we have presented over here. So this is a sample piece of code. Okay, this is thing. Code is nothing but which a programming language which we can useful to interact, okay, and to feel better and to perform any action. Okay, so this is the software structure. And going to the next slide, you will be getting a front-end development demo. So this is the Pega site, and this is the complete UI. Okay, on the top of that, just follow my hover and as well as cursor. Okay, so this is nothing but header part, and this is nothing but and which we are not seeing, right, it has been cropped, right? So this is nothing but what, this is nothing but footer. And those who are recording, right, please stop this recording. Okay, I will share the recording whenever it possible. Okay, so I don't want to mention their name. Okay, so please don't do that. We shall definitely share the screen, and as well as we will definitely share the documents and as well a recording. Okay, so those who are recording the session, right, please don't do that. Okay, so it will impact the others as well. Okay, so please don't do that. Okay, so I will wait for another 30 seconds. So if you don't, stop this one, right? So we'll try to remove from this class. So this is the policy against we are implementing, and we are apologies for that as well. Okay, so don't record any session, please. Yeah. So coming to the back to the session, right? So this is the front end, screen. So this is nothing but we called a body, and this is nothing but what a we can see a image. Okay, and these are nothing but what some buttons or links. Okay, all these things. Okay, so as I iterated that in order to develop this front end screen, we need what? We need a HTML, Java, okay, and JavaScript libraries as well. Okay, so in the coming slides you will come to know how we can develop a front-end application as well. Okay, this is nowhere related to the Pega, but we are just trying to make you understand the differences between the traditional application development versus this Pega application development. Okay, so I believe that you are following my lines. And coming to the next slide, we will be having a backend development where we need to develop a piece of code like this. Okay, so this is a sample piece of code which we need to write in order to perform any action. So over here in the front end application, we'll be having this button, right? Register now or explore our tech, or we'll be having this self-guided tool. Okay, so these are nothing but what backend operation. For suppose if I click this register now, right? So it will redirect or it will get a pop-up or it will make a any action or event, right? So, if anything, if any parameter, if we perform any event, right? So, if it does any sort of action, so that is nothing but we call as a backend operation. Okay. So, backend operation which we can't see, but we can something feel that something is happened. Whereas front end nothing but we can have a touch and feel. Like see, this is a beautiful and this is a rigorous, okay, and this is clumsy kind of thing. Whereas in back end, right, we don't feel but we can see the result. Okay. So when we click on the register now, right, you can have the form open or else it will try to redirect to somewhere else. So like this. Okay, so it result into what? It result into make you get a result. Okay, so that's why we need to write some sort of events and some sort of piece of code. Okay, so this is nothing but backend development. And coming to the next, we will be having a front end versus backend on the whole. Okay, so this is a mainstream application like where we will be having HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and AngularJS as well. So these are the few libraries which we will have to develop this front end application. And however, in the backend, we'll be having a PHP, okay, and Java, Python, C Sharp, C language, all these things we'll be having. Any of the things we can develop, okay. So, and we have the database management as well, right? So now, now you feel and make you understand yourself that in order to develop any application, now how many resource we need. Okay, so we need this front-end application wala like HTML, CSS developer and JavaScript at least in order to develop a single form or else single web page, right? We need at least 2 to 3 resources from front-end and at least 3 to 4 resources from back-end operations. Okay, and for the in order to maintain the database, right? So we need at least a team like of containing 2 to 3. Okay, so if you make them average of these three platforms, right, like combination of front end, back end, and as well as this database management, right, we'll be having around a team of 10 members in order to develop a single web page. Okay, so this is not a thumb rule that we need only a 2 to 3%, but I'm saying on the whole, assumption kind of thing. Okay, now see here. So obviously, if you want to become a backend operation, at least you need to run PHP And if you want to learn at least a front end, right, you need to learn all these things. However, you feel stress. That's why nowadays, the Java developer or Python developer, we see, lots of, frustration we have. Obviously, they have. Okay, why? Because they don't have any sort of automation, but they are creating the automation. They're depending on the other application. Okay, so which we'll be seeing in the later slides as well. Okay, so if I'm going, fast, right? So try to stop me and try to, stop me as well, right? So try to, have a interruption. Okay. So my main intention is to make you understand and in a better way to communicate with yourself. Okay. So is my voice or else is my pronunciation or else, if is there any discrepancy with from my end, right? So please let me know as soon as possible. Great. So going to this session, let's have a beautiful example which we have framed. So Kristen and Peter are good friends. Okay, and Kristen and as well as Peter need to be they are looking for a good developer in order to develop their apps respectively. Now Kristen needs an app developer, and Peter also needs an app developer. Okay, now Kristen went to Robert, whereas Peter went to Jack to develop their apps respectively. Okay, now Christian and Peter are good friends. They need a good developers in order to develop their application. And now what happens next? We'll see. Now after a few days, now Christian calls to the Peter to have a presence at a new office. So on which they will inaugurate a app launch kind of thing, the event kind of thing. Okay. So when Peter hears his voice right from Christian and heard about this this good news, right? So he felt very shocked and he asked, how come? So within a fraction of days and within a couple of days, how it possible to make an app such a beautiful? Okay, now now see whatever Peter what Kristen does. Now Kristen revealed that she has suggested the developer to use the Pega platform. Okay, so she's a Christian. She suggested that she, suggested to use the Pega platform in order to develop their application. Now, in the coming slides, so why does Christian said that to develop the Pega application? Okay, and why not, this Peter hasn't any idea on this Pega application? Okay, so I will keep this slide and halter and I will be moving and I will coming back to this slide you need to answer. Okay, now see here. So I'm developing a piece of code for you. Mm, just a sec. Yeah, W3 schools HTML. Okay, so this is the HTML code which we can write. Where is that? Just we are trying to create a form. Okay, great. So this is a single simple form. Okay, like we'll be having a first name, last name, and a submit button. Okay, so in order to develop this first name, this last name, and as well as submit button, right? You need to write this much code. Only for what? Only for HTML. I didn't go for CSS in order to make a stylings, in order to make a good alignment and have a better feel. Okay, and also I didn't write any sort of code to perform this backend operation as well. Okay, in order to create a simple form, right, I need to write a this much code. Now see here, greater than 10 lines, I guess. Okay, now see here, we need to explore more. We need to analyze the requirement and then we need to dig out into this code. Okay, and we need to compile. And if we get any sort of compile errors, then we need to debug this issue, we need to analyze the issue, and then we need to perform a unit testing, and then we need to deploy to the test environment. So all these things which happens in the IT industry. Okay, so see here, once again I'm reiterating that in order to develop this HTML form, right, we need to see here, we need to write this much code. Okay, now I'm navigating you to the our Pega application. Now see here, so this is the Pega application. Okay, so I'm just navigating, so don't need to worry at all. We will be describing you each and every element. Okay, see here, right now, so I'm running. So yesterday we had developed this one and I will delete this one. See here, I am deleting entirely I am deleting. Okay, now you can have a timer as well, how fast we can develop in this. Okay, now see here, so as I iterated that in the Java, Pega uses the Java background, right? See here, we'll be having a test input, text area, date and time, currency, and in the we'll be having a pickers, in the having checkbox, drop downs, radio buttons, and in the action, now see the magic, we'll be having a button as well. Here no need to write any sort of code in order to create a button like we'll be having in a, see here, input type button, value button. Okay, so we no need to write anything on this, just Pega will take care on behalf of you. Now Pega will does its job. Okay, just we need to do what, drag and drop, that's it. Now see here in the display, we'll be having a test, we'll be having a label. See here, in the bottom, we will be having a label kind of thing, right? A note kind of thing. See here, this is nothing but paragraph. We no need to write any sort of tags in order to insert this one. Okay, simply we can drag and drop. Here we are seeing this paragraph, right? Simply we need to drag here and there. That's it. Okay, now start your timer and how fast we can develop. See now. Okay, so now text input one will be having a first name and as well as last name, and as well as along with this we'll be having a button. Let's have a button name called submit. Okay, and if you want this first name and last name as well, right, we can do that very well, we can do that. Now see here, we'll be having first name. Okay, and for the second label we will be nominating as second name, last name. Okay, and I'm saving this. Now I'm running. Now see, this is called first name, this is called last name, this is called submit. Now see here, first name, last name, submit. Now how fast we have developed this one? Did we do any sort of Java code or else any sort of code? Nothing, right? What we have done? Only we had just we need English to understand what is this text input, text area, date and time. We'll be having autocomplete. If you have the knowledge of English, minimum English to understand, to make you understand what is multi-select, right? So you will learn the Pega easily. That means in the clear words, a layman can understand. So that's how the Pega has built. That's why it is now a leader in the BPM industry. It will automate the things. Now, in the starting of the slide, right, I said that it will automate the BPM industry needs. So this is how one of the factors which will automate the parameters. This is not the main thing. Okay, so there are n number of AI included in the business processes where Pega can automate the things. This is one of them. Okay, you no need to write any of the things. Okay, and this is for simple UI purpose, right? So I will also explain in detail about the backend as well. So this is the event, this is the action. Now see here, anyone can understand. Click. On click what happened, on double click what happened, and over what happened, and tap key and down key, left key followed by everything. Okay, so this Pega is built in a such a way that we can understand, we can communicate with a native language. Anyone can understand. Okay, see here how simple it is. So on click of a button, one need to do. So simple. This is the backend operation. That's it. Now here we'll be having an action, and I am clicking on the all actions. Now see here. We'll be having a close, we're having a print, we'll having a menu, mobile search, cancel. Cancel is nothing but what? We just need to cancel. That's it. And save. It will save. Now see here. Edit item, delete item, add item. Okay. And we'll be having everything which we can understand and which we can make you communicate with this Pega application in order to build the application so rapidly. So that's why we had developed this application in a such a way that it will competitive to the others. Now, getting back to the Peter, Peter, right? Now, getting back to the Peter Wala scenario. Now, what Peter need to do now? Do he need to wait for some time to develop this app in the the same application programming language, or do he need to switch to Pega application? It's all depends on his I can say his ideology. If he needs the app to be in a streamlined automate process and in a rapid way, right, then he need to switch to the Pega. Okay, so the point where many of the clients, almost many of the clients has recognized the importance of the Pega. So that's why I'm moving into the next slide now. See here. So this is the boom of the Pega, where it has emerged into 21 verticals. We'll having a insurance, life cycle, transportation, healthcare, whatnot. We'll be having a see here. And the Poland, German, Australia, United Kingdom, United States, we have see here. So almost, many of the countries is acquired. And in the next slide, I will say you a surprising note. Okay. So yeah. So just wait for that. Okay. So until then, so I will be saying a few websites and companies, big MNC names where it's built on Pega. Like we have a JP Morgan, okay, Bank of America, Cisco, Philips. Okay, so these are the few big MNCs which is built on Pega. And in and in India, so we'll be having a mini which providing the services like we have a TSCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL, CTS, Accenture, and many more as well. Okay, so this is about the boom of the Pega. Now you got the question right, why we need to learn Pega. So in the early slides, we come to know that what is Pega, what it does. Now, okay, now up to now I believe that now you cleared that now why we need to learn Pega. Okay, so as I said, right, so you'll be having a surprising screen. So now see here. So this is a I can say surprising element that government of Andhra Pradesh, okay, is collaborated with the Pega software. This is nothing but we call e-Pragati. Okay, so which was inaugurated during 2018. Okay, so if you have time in the later day, just type e-Prakati Pega. Now it will redirect to the a website so which is built on what Pega. Okay, so government of Andhra Pradesh as well, put a lots of effort on the Pega systems as well in order to collaborate this one. Okay, so this is the great news from Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so how trust it is. Now see here. Why Andhra Pradesh, government of Andhra Pradesh has taken the decider. That is nothing but it will automate all the things. We no need to depend on other elements. Okay, yeah. And later days, Peter and Kristen party together. So this is the big elaboration of the late previous class. Okay, so if you have any questions, right? So we will discuss on this later on. We can move to the class 2 session. Can anyone confirm?